Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Guten Tag. We're covering German food. And this is part 2 in the series of tutorials that I'm doing. And today we're going over Jager Schnitzel. Schnitzel is essentially a breaded cutlet. It's a piece of meat that's pounded very thin. You can do pork, beef, veal, chicken. We're doing a pork schnitzel. And Jager is a mushroom gravy. Now, I'm doing a little cheat. I'm not making my gravy from scratch. I've said this before. Sometimes buying already packaged items are just as good, if not sometimes better, than having to kill yourself to do it from scratch. I'm not cooking a roast or anything like that, so I don't have any natural drippings and all of that to make a really good gravy. So it just makes sense to get a powdered version of a gravy and doctor it up. And it's gonna work great, I'm telling you. You're not gonna know, if you try this at home, you're not gonna know that it's McCormick powdered brown gravy. It's gonna taste fabulous. So, like all my other tutorials, I'll have an ingredients page at the beginning of the tutorial listing all the necessary ingredients and the measurements. So, enough talking. Let's get cooking. Here I have my boneless pork chops. I'm going to start by trimming the excess fat off. And then after we trim all the fat off, we're going to use a meat tenderizer to score the meat on both sides. Now, if you don't have a meat tenderizer, you can use a fork to pierce the flesh. So this is what a meat tenderizer looks like, and you can see all the little blades. Start by piercing the flesh on one side. Then flip it over and pierce the other side. Here you can see all the holes I pierced. Place the cutlet in a Ziploc bag or under some saran wrap. Now my meat mallet went missing, so I'm going to use my pestle to pound the cutlet thin. So if you don't have a meat mallet, you can use a pestle like I'm doing or a rolling pin and pound the meat thin like this. So this is how thick the cutlet started out, and this is how thin we got it. Here I've pounded thin all of the remaining cutlets, and now they're ready to be seasoned. Lightly season each cutlet with salt and pepper on both sides. Next, we're going to season approximately 3 cups of panko breadcrumbs with a 1/4 teaspoon each of allspice and some ground nutmeg, and some paprika. And now just mix that all together. Okay, so next we need to crack 3 eggs in a separate bowl and beat them to make our egg wash. And then we'll move over to the stove. And in a fry pan, bring 1/4 cup of olive oil up to temperature. So now here I have my little assembly line with my seasoned pork chops, egg wash, and breadcrumbs. So now just go through the process of dipping individually each pork chop into your egg wash and then into some breadcrumbs. And then to your fry pan. Now I have my heat just slightly over medium, not exactly medium high. And it'll take approximately 3 minutes on each side. Don't have the heat too high. You don't want to burn your breadcrumbs. Once one side is nice and golden brown, you can flip it and cook the other side. When your pork cutlet feels firm, it's done. You can just take it and put it to the side and continue cooking your other pork cutlets. In the meantime, I'm gonna make my Jager gravy. So I'm starting with 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And to that, I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of chopped shallot. And then a cup of Bella mushrooms. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Don't get crazy with the salt. Instant gravy tends to be salty. Once the mushrooms have softened, we're going to add our brown gravy packet. Mix that in. So now just shut the heat off a second because we're gonna add our beef broth a little at a time at first, moving everything around to make sure you don't get any clumps. And then you can add the remaining broth all at once. I'm using a whisk to make sure I don't get any lumps. Turn your stove back on to approximately medium-high. We want the gravy to come up to a low boil. I'm also gonna add 4 dashes of Maggi seasoning. See, now it's come up to a boil, give it a good stir, and there you have it, your gravy. Shut the heat off, you're done. So here I'm finishing up my last pork cutlet. It's all done, so now let's plate it and taste it. Okay, so here it is, guys, our Jager Schnitzel, and also our entire German plate. That includes the Urken salad, the cucumber salad, and the Schnitzel, the drop dumpling, and some red cabbage, which I didn't make, I purchased. Another good example of something already made for you. This is red cabbage with apple, and it is so yum. It is so good. I highly recommend you try it. So let's try our Jager Schnitzel. I have my pork cutlet with my mushroom gravy. Okay. So good. Nothing like a thin pork cutlet with seasoning and that mushroom gravy. Amazing. And here's our Schnitzel. Light and fluffy. And our Urken salad. The red cabbage. It's sweet and savory. It's hard to describe. It's really, really good. Lovely, lovely. Well, I hope you guys try and enjoy this schnitzel recipe. Also look for my Schnitzel recipe as well as my Urken salad recipe. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on anything. And as always, guys, until next time, bye!